Gilliland Hunters, and welcome back to another episode of Starfleet Command. I'm Orion Pirates, I'm Rear Admiral Turek of the Battleship Devourer as we continue our campaign against the Romulan Star Empire. And the last time we have been isolating the planet of 21-9, and we've done quite a good job of it. It is indeed quite isolated, and its defense is down to 40, so we should be able to grab this fairly soon and use this as our staging ground against the rest of the Romulan Star Empire. There's also a planet up here at 23-9, which we'll probably work to try and grab, give ourselves a nice little strong foothold. So without further ado, let us set out to continue the encirclement. We want to make sure that they can't just regain this territory without any significant expenditure. We want it under our control, that way they can't have it. At least that's the plan going out. So, red alert and increased speed. We are fighting pirates at this point. Multiple pirates. We got a single freighter out here, as well as a heavy cruiser here, although this tends to be the design of the carrier, and it is a BHV-1, the Doom something, and that is indeed a carrier of some description. Let's increase our speed up to something where we can actually be rolling at something in the neighborhood of around 16, I believe, is our speed. And we'll also buff up the forward shield and give ourselves a decent amount of electronic countermeasure whenever we get the power free from the phaser capacitor. With that said, we're in range, we're set to rock, so open fire with the MIRVs just as soon as they cycle out of there. They go. And we'll immediately follow this up with a host of other missile launches. I'm going to wait for the MIRVs to actually get out in front of my salvo. That way I can have, well, the MIRVs first. The MIRVs only do 1/4 damage. Oh, there's also a light cruiser over here. It's an SPJ, the Jaya. Jaya Hawk, maybe? In any event, it's a Romulan light cruiser, and that could actually be dangerous. He's probably the most dangerous, but an SPJ, that's a Sparrowhawk something, or maybe a Jayhawk. This should be Sparrow, because SP. Not quite certain what we're going to be running into with that one. We also need to figure out exactly what this heavy cruiser is going to be sending towards us. After all, they tend to have anti-missile defenses by this point in the war, except this one does not. 2 C-Racks, that's rapid-fire missile launchers, 2 B-Racks, that's extended magazines, 2 disruptors, and then just a couple of phasers. He has no defense against what we're about to fire at him. So we'll open up with another set of MIRVs, let those pop, and then open fire with ours. We lost control of the missiles due to control limit, but we don't care. None of these missiles are going to hit anyway. So that's perfectly acceptable in our book, although these fighters could be a problem. Let's try and drag them out just a little ways, make sure that they don't actually get involved in the actual shooting. We do, of course, need to be worried about him. Set out the probe, find out exactly what it is we're dealing with over on that front. That's a lot, actually. Start pulling away. In fact, I'm going to have to reset how I'm engaging. After these missiles hit, we're immediately going to open fire on this. Yep, he opened fire on us. S-type plasma torpedo will deal 30 damage should it hit us, and he's dealt quite a few of them. Okay, we took out that in its entirety. Fire the MIRVs, and fire the follow-up. And we're just going to set him to our stern, keep on running. He should go into cloak. Yes, he did. All right. So whether or not these missiles hit is very unlikely at this point. As you can see, they're trying to roll their control checks, but it looks like he dumped a wild weasel. That works out anyway. So that's a relatively good position to be in. We'll launch another probe, find out what our third opponent is packing. Twin C-Rack rapid-fire missile launchers and a pair of phaser 3s. So no danger there at all to us. We did outrun the SPJ's incoming fire from plasma torpedoes, so we should now be able to basically rip this guy apart. I'm going to open fire with disruptors if at all possible. Alright, phaser follow-up. Throw him apart. Okay. We've got a single opponent left. It is a heavy cruiser. We're going to kind of set him to our stern because at this point what we're waiting on is energy. Or not energy, we're waiting for him to decloak, which has him waiting on energy. So he's going to stay under cloak until he has his plasma torpedoes recharged. We don't need to really care about that. We just need to wait for him to come out of cloak and then we can start opening fire on him. We can't fire as long as there's no lock right now, so as long as he's under cloak, and he's coming out now. So 1, 2, that's our initial salvo. He should have a Wild Weasel prepared by now. They will generally spend all of their shuttles on Wild Weasels alone. We didn't see any Plasma D torpedoes, or at least I didn't. I was only paying attention to the Plasma Fs and the Plasma Ss that he was packing. So he has the incoming fire. He's shot down some of them, but he's not close. Oh, nope, there goes the Wild Weasel. Okay, so now we can head on in, fire the initial salvo, start to turn away, and prepare our follow-up. And launch out as well. Our missile limit is exceeded, but we don't care because, again, Wild Weasel was deployed. All those missiles don't matter. So now we're just going to wait for those to soar on in at him. That's a lot of missiles to deal with. We're going to actually try and cut across, come back over in this direction, try and lead it in so that the MIRVs are first. And he fires a single plasma torpedo. And now the real salvo hits him. That just tore him right apart. And we're beyond a range where this is going to be able to penetrate our shields. Even if it was point-blank range, it wouldn't get through our shields. So, a nice little running gun battle there, taking care of all the targets that we need to worry about. And yeah, we're going to... Oh, we got the tile. Excellent. So we'll pop over here on another patrol, and go on to the next one. And it's going to be against Romulan vessels again. So let us red alert and start to increase speed. Oh, it's a sun glider. Interesting. So we do have a single sun glider off there, off in the corner, and nobody else. So the sun glider is going to be easy to destroy. He does have a Gatling phaser, or maybe even several Gatling phasers, depending on just how big he is. Let's get up to our actual speed. We're looking at fleet screen, please. SGL, sun glider large. So he should have a couple of Gatling phasers. So we are going to, of course, have to open fire first with our MIRVs, which we do anyway, but it's important to note the exact order of these things. He will be able to get up to a relatively decent speed. He will have shields, but he will not be able to defend himself using wild weasels. He will not be able to defend himself using tractor beams. So he's purely based on how many missiles he can shoot down. So, fire with the MIRVs. We'll follow up immediately as soon as they pop out in front of us with the rest of our salvo. Let that get out ahead of us. Important. Again, he will have a pretty decent Gatling phaser complement, and I just want to make sure that the Gatling phaser is shooting down the missiles that are going to deal less damage. Now, we do have a Firehawk off here in the corner. This is going to be really dangerous. Firehawks are fast, blisteringly quick ships. They are fantastic. Just everything about the Hawk Heavy Cruiser series is amazing for Romulan vessels. Some of them come equipped with R-type plasma torpedoes. Most of them come equipped with S-type plasma torpedoes. The further on in time, the bigger the plasma torpedoes. They are fast, they are maneuverable, they've got a wonderful suite of weapon systems on board. They are probably the quintessential Romulan vessel by the late era. They're just all-around good ships, and they look cool too. So they've got a lot going for them. They've got the looks, they've got the firepower, and they've got the speed, which makes them really dangerous opponents to tangle with. Even a battleship, if we don't play things right, he's going to deal a lot of damage to us, which is actually one of the reasons why I'm pulling directly away from him. I do want the range to slowly... Ooh, that was a mistake, my friend. That was a bad mistake. He shot down some of them, but now he's got the incoming missiles striking right through his shields and dealt 96 damage to him. I'm going to fire with normal salvos only, please. Not even going to bother wasting the MIRVs on him on this one, because I think we're just going to cut right through, and that should be able to defeat him. So I want to focus with him a little bit on my stern. I'm going to launch a couple of MIRVs. I want to see if this will actually bait him out. I don't think so, but there's always that brief opportunity, and we like to investigate to see exactly what sort of missile tactics we need to actually use in the future. So is he going to be able to shoot any down? I don't... Nope, he's gone. He is absolutely done for. So the initial MIRV volley is out. I'm not quite sure how he'll respond to it. I do hope that he tries to Wild Weasel them. If that's the case, then we can start using just a single MIRV launch as our initial volley, and then follow that up with a MIRV and full salvo later on. So he is at long distance, and he is at relatively high speed, so we're going to have to drag him back into these MIRVs if we want them to have any effect at all. Oh, it's going to be tight. What's he going to do with it? They're right on his stern. Is he going to react? I don't think so. Oh, he's grabbed a lot of them. That's interesting. I'm going to launch 4 more missiles. I just want to push him a little bit over the edge. He does have a lot of MIRVs on board right now. Or not MIRVs, but a lot held in a tractor beam. So all we're trying to do is freak him out a little bit. That's the goal here, is to make it so that he's like, oh my god, I've got to do something about all this incoming fire. We do have a couple of pseudo-frigates, so we're going to engage them from long range using our C-racks and a B-rack, which we're going to set to single shot because it's more safe that way. And are you going to react? He didn't. Alright, I'm a little bit confused as to what's going to cause you to actually do things, but that's okay. We're going to just spend a little time. We'll take care of the pseudo-frigates, or at least try to. They could shoot down these missiles. That's entirely possible. So as long as we're stretching out his resources, though, I'm perfectly happy. So I'm actually going to increase speed more. There goes 1. There goes 2. There's 2. And hit and hit. Oh, that one survived. I'm not quite sure how, but he did. Fascinating. Alright, so let's open up with a full MIRV salvo. We're going to do this properly this time. No more trying to get around with MIRV salvos on this one. At this point, also, I'm going to select my disruptor. Give him a couple of bursts. I wanted to see if it was just enough to take him out, but it wasn't quite. We did deal damage to him, which is always good. And frankly, at this point, we can just go maximum speed if we really want to, because we're using disruptors, we're using missiles. None of these things will actually give us any power savings. Oh, he actually took the hit. That's kind of amusing. I'm actually going to line you up with a single C-Rack. It's a bit of a waste, but I'm willing to try and invest in it. So MIRVs plus the rest of the salvo. So this should be able to intercept him. He's only doing a speed of 21. He's not capable of outracing our missiles. So at this point, he's done for. Unless he shoots it down. It's entirely possible that happens. It didn't. It absolutely did not. He took that missile to the face and died. It's always amusing to be able to just knock out pseudo-frigates in one shot. There's actually a lot more powerful pseudo-frigates that you can get your hands on. There's ones with 4 plasma torpedoes. There's ones with 5 plasma torpedoes. Although technically, in lore, that ship should only be able to fire those plasma torpedoes once, because it basically holds them in a charge, kind of like a D-type plasma torpedo. Because F-type plasma torpedoes, once they're fully charged, they hold the plasma torpedo in like this stasis ball. And so the 5 plasma torpedo type pseudo-frigate for the Romulans is actually just 5 of those mounted in a launcher. And so, unfortunately, the game doesn't quite support that, so it has an infinite number of launches, and so it has 5 plasma torpedoes, and it's absolute bonkers, and I kind of love it. I don't use it because it's way too frail. Oh, this is a base station assault, or... I think so. Crap. I didn't want to do this. Alright, we got a single dreadnought off in the distance, and we're being escorted by a Gorn BBF, a plasma destroyer dreadnought, which is quite nice. It's a K-10R, which is a Romulan design. We are a little bit low on ammo, and when I say a little bit, I mean we have 20 reloads here, which means we've got 5 shots. Let's try and make it count. So I would rather not waste a lot of ammunition. I've got 10 MIRVs, which means 5 shots. I've got 5 shots on basically everything. Alright, so I will fire the MIRVs, and then... just 4 missiles. We'll see if we can't get away with that. No, this is a B-10. It'll have 4 plasma torpedoes. That's going to make it very, very difficult to beat. But we do have this guy. So you know what? We're going to go full salvo on him. And the reason why we're going to do this is because at the end of the day, while our missiles are fantastically powerful, it's more important at this stage to make it so that the AI can have a clean, easy follow-up. We are smart. Reasonably. So we know how to make the most out of what we can do, what sort of firepower we can pump out. If we were to wait for him to engage, and wait for that to cause the K-10 to drop his Wild Weasel, all of his firepower is wasted for the next 3 turns, whereas for us, 1, it's a 1-turn investment. 2, he's got 4 D-type plasma torpedoes, which means he's going to shoot down most of our stuff anyway. He can't shoot down the plasma. And 3, the AI isn't going to know what to do with a follow-up. We know that we turn to the side, we start moving away. We have ways of dealing with these kinds of vessels, and at the end of the day, honestly, we know for a fact we can take him on with our disruptors. The AI is going to get caught in a close-range knife fight. He's just going to try and beat it out. At the end of the battle, he'll be so incredibly badly chunked down that he'll barely be there. And we're really going to need this guy when we go for the base station. So, yeah. Kind of important. He's already started to engage with his system, and he's launched his pseudo-frigates. He's also dumped his Wild Weasel, which was the point of this exercise. So we'll start up with a follow-up with a second salvo. So this is 2 of 5 that we have. And this is the last salvo I want to launch. I don't want to invest any more missiles on this guy. I want the BEFF to be able to handle him. Or the BBF, not a BFF. He is not our best friends. He is a Gorn, and we do not like Gorn. Okay, we kind of like Gorn. Gorn are kind of cool. And we are going to invest in this. I don't want to invest in this, but I have to invest in this. So 2 missiles popping out at the interceptors. That way, and they're focused our missiles on us. Good. Okay, so we don't have to worry about that. So he shouldn't have any defenses at this point in terms of Wild Weasel support. He should be incredibly vulnerable to all incoming fire. Although he's shooting down a lot of stuff. His forward shields are down already. And he's starting to take some really good hits. We're going to turn right back in on him now. Because we've got him. Oh, wow. The Gorn battleship took some nasty hits, too. I'm not sure why. He's still traveling at a speed of 18, which is a bit of a problem. Because it means that he's avoiding a lot of... Oh, we got some missiles through. Excellent. He's lost pretty much all power at this point. Did he dump a wild weasel? He did. He had another one ready to go shortly after. He dumped it for 2 missiles. We're going to go in with disruptors only, and we're going to engage him. And we're going to try and get some serious work done with just an energy armament. That's one of the pseudo-frigates down, but we don't really care, because pseudo-frigates... Well, no, they're super helpful. But I'd much rather have a pseudo-frigate down than a shield down, which unfortunately I think he... Yeah, he beamed something over. Oh, he opened up a shield, took all that damage to beam something over. I am incredibly disappointed in you. We'll fire with the disruptors, just start getting some hits on him. 13 damage. All his weapons are on cycle. We get in close with our phasers, we've got him. Again, we don't want to use our missiles. At this point, we need to destroy a starbase. We don't want to use our missiles. Because the starbase is going to be incredibly difficult to knock out. That starbase is going to... It's probably going to take our lunch. If it's a small-ish starbase, we might have a chance. But I don't think that it is. I think we're dealing with an actual full-power one. And that's going to make our day terrible. Also, I just realized I don't have a wild weasel. I probably should have one. And this is going to hurt. I don't want to crunch through this shield, but I think it's worth it. Because taking away all defensive angles. So we crunched through, and now we're about to take an incredibly nasty hit. It's 2 MIRVs. It's got to be 24 damage. Alright, he's launched a Plasma F torpedo at us. I will take a Plasma F. As long as I'm out... Man, that's a much larger Plasma torpedo. Aft shields reinforced? No, they're charging after the phasers. This is gonna hurt quite badly. So the defender ship is destroyed, but we're about to lose our rear shields. We did. I figured that would happen. Okay, not great. Really not great. We kind of needed that shield, and we botched it. We came in too slow. We have no shield defense in the back. And that's actually a pretty big mistake that's probably going to haunt us. Not having a rear shield as we try and take this thing on could be bad. Unless it's a small starbase, I don't know. It is an SBPR, which, according to this, is astonishingly well armed. Oh god. This is superior to planetary defenses right here. The number of R-type plasma torpedoes I'm looking at is just ridiculous. I don't think we can beat it. So, 1, 2, 3, 4 R-type plasma torpedoes. 2, 4, 6. I'm assuming there's an 8 somewhere around here. Yeah, 8. 4 phaser 4s. I mean, this is not defeatable. I don't quite know how to respond in this one. Look at that. I don't think I can get through it. I think that's part of the problem. We're going to try, but I've got 1 salvo to make this work, and he's got a wild weasel. Because unlike planets, starbases can wild weasel quite heavily, and dear God, he just got gutted by that. I wish you would fire your pseudo-torpedoes. That would make my life so much easier. Slow down to an actual reasonable speed of time. How to engage you. How to engage you. So 4 D-type plasma torpedoes that probably have a 360-degree arc. But we're not penetrating that. I don't think we are, anyway. He's fired an F-type plasma torpedo. He's just responded with a whole bunch of S's and R's. If we get close to this thing, we're going to die. We are absolutely going to die. Did you wild weasel? He wild weasel. Fire the MIRFs. Get everything out right now. We have a very, 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 very brief window of opportunity. And by window of opportunity, I mean I anticipate every single one of these things getting shot down. In fact, what I should have done was send my fighters in at the same time to soak up the fire, although they only take 1 hit apiece. Look at that. Dear God. It was all for nothing. It was all for bloody nothing. So here's a couple of layers of problems here. 1, it turns. Turning is bad because turning means he's constantly bringing a new shield facing to you. 2, and this is probably worse. We can't fire our missiles within a range of 0. Or actually within a range of like 0.75. So, if we try and get super close to him, in order to reduce the effect of the Stella Acceptor's D-type plasma torpedoes, we can't shoot. And if we are 0.75 away from him, our missiles have to actually impact the hull itself, which this is clearly not in the middle of it. So our only choice is to, one, burn him dry, which we're trying, and hope he doesn't cloak, and hope he doesn't have enough tractors to handle all of what I'm about to throw at him. Oh, I feel like I'm going backwards suddenly. Wow, that's a really weird optical illusion. So this is probably going to be our last salvo. Come on, Murphs. I really feel like I'm going backwards suddenly. Can't be the only one. Oh, our Murphs are out. All our weapons. So, all of... just gotta dump it. And unfortunately, we don't have missiles to control. At least he's firing his plasma torpedoes at our fighters and not at us. I mean, that's helpful. But I think we're out of ammo at this point. Yeah, that's out. That's out. That's out. Yeah, we got no ammo left. We may get a shot through. Hey, we got a shot through. That's a big deal. To me. So what I could do for the next hour is I could sit here. I may actually do that. All right, let's do this. Let's make this work. So I need to now track several things, one of which is his exact rotational speed. I need to call you home also. Fighter bay, you, return, probe fire, disruptors. This is his shield. This is the weak shield. And I need to keep track of that. And I'm physically going to have to keep track of this. So he brings the shield up, and if we penetrate, which we didn't, okay, so we're done. Not gonna happen. I gave it one shot, and we couldn't make it happen on the one shot, so reinforce this shield. Go yellow alert. And now we'll pull away. So we can't defeat him. We don't have the missile saturation, we don't have the firepower to do that. Maybe if we had full loads, but we don't. So we showed up here, the Gorn got killed, but that's the awesome power of starbases, and it's one of the reasons why I prefer to capture them by not actually fighting them. Trying to fight a starbase that is a full power base, you're basically asking for trouble unless you bring a full battleship squadron of at least 3 battleships under your control. Because that's a lot of firepower, and we just do not have a way of handling it. But them's the breaks. If we take this, we'll take the planet and the starbase, and that's a huge amount of power that we'll start exuding, which we really want. So that's going to be our primary goal. We really can't go home, which is one of the reasons why I didn't want to take any internal damage. Because if we go home, well, the nearest planet is like here. So that's a bit too far of a trip to make. But yeah, that's going to do it for today's episode. We've peeked into the starbase, we've peeked in the door, had it slammed in our faces, but we're going to come back and we're going to steal it. In any event, I've been Tarek. If you like what you've been seeing, hit that like button and subscribe. If you want to see a notification every time I list one of these videos, press that little bell icon, leave a comment, and I will see you all in the next episode.